Well, it's because it's government money, taxpayers' money, your money and mine. Nobody's spending their own money. The academics can provide slave labour because they're getting salaries from the university. They can also pay to publish with open access journals because they just take it out of their grants. When they bid for research funding, they include a line for publishing, so it's something they expect and it's not really painful. And libraries have big budgets to spend on journals which they get from the university, which ultimately gets it from the government or student tuition fees. So yeah, academic publishing is one hell of a racket and very lucrative for the few companies that control the vast majority of journals. The Kazakh scientist Alexandra Elbakyan condemns it as morally wrong. She says that the research is paid for by the general public through government grants, and therefore the general public should have access to the results. It should not be possible for a few fat cat publishers to make money out of it and otherwise block access to scientific knowledge to those in lower income countries whose universities are too poor to pay. So she has set up a pirate website to make academic papers available for free. Well, Alexandra Elbakyan is subject to a ton of copyright lawsuits and probably criminal charges, and she lives in hiding. Now, the scientific publishing industry owes its origins largely to the tycoon Robert Maxwell in the decades after the Second World War. Maxwell is an amazing figure. If you want a biography of him, read this one. This is what it says. Maxwell was born to a poor Jewish family in Czechoslovakia, living in one room and not even having a pair of shoes. When the Second World War broke out, he was a young man and he managed to join the British Army and rise to be an officer, where he was known for his bravery and worked in intelligence. After the war, he settled in Britain and got into academic publishing, initially by making available to English-speaking scientists lots of research papers captured from the Germans. He was an ambitious businessman and he set about proliferating the number of journals he was publishing because he realized it was a license to print money. All he needed to do was come up with a title like International Journal of Basket Weaving, persuade some academic to become editor for his own personal vanity, and Maxwell was away. All the basket weaving departments around the country would be on to their university libraries saying, we've got to take this International Journal of Basket Weaving so that we can keep abreast of research in our field. And Maxwell could charge the libraries practically anything he liked to supply them with his journal. So he got very rich and very powerful with many connections around the world, which he put to good use by doing undercover work for Mossad. Things unravelled for him after he bought the Daily Mirror newspaper and started losing money. According to this, he approached the Israeli government for a bailout, saying, look, I've done a massive amount for Israel, now it's time for you to help me. And the Israeli government decided Maxwell knew too much and they couldn't let themselves be blackmailed by him. And in November 1991, he mysteriously fell overboard from his yacht and drowned. His yacht was called the Lady Ghislaine, named after his youngest daughter, Ghislaine Maxwell, who is currently serving 20 years in a US prison for her role in the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein. So anyway, the modern academic publishing industry owes its massive size and lucrative business model largely to the efforts of Robert Maxwell.